trying to see is, I don't even see, jump around. The people that are first aren't even here, are they? Melinda and Louisa?
They are not. No.
So, we'll maneuver.
Let's move around.
After 9 a.m., if you'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to this January 18th Board of Commissioners meeting. First item of business is public comment, which would be for anyone that is not on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, we'll get right to it because we have a rather lengthy agenda today. Our first speaker or presenter is not here, so we'll just move on and we'll circle back when they show up. So we have Don Layton with discussing the new FTA compliance. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just a quick update real quick for you. As you guys know, we do public transportation here in Clinton County, and you guys are our pass-between agreement. So we write the grant, you guys sign the grant, and then you receive the funds and then distribute the funds to us. So what's happened kind of at the NDOT state level is they've been going through like their FTA compliance, and they've found some things that like they think that the state can do a little bit better. Funny, isn't it? Like how that works. So anyway, we're getting new like guidelines and regulations that are coming down on us, basically. So some of the things that they're changing is we used to like just report to them quarterly, which is you guys get our quarterly reports and sign them, and then we get our funding and stuff. And now they're going to like monthly reporting that we have to do for them. So each month they give us a list of things that we have to upload into their system. So just to kind of let you guys know that that's happening, and sometimes I might have to come to you and be like, okay, listen, like I have this that needs to be signed or that needs to be signed and to be in compliance. So they're just changing their structure a little bit. So I brought two things with me today. I gave them to Brett. I don't know if, so one of them is a lease agreement, basically for our vehicles. So even though you guys don't have any money involved in our vehicles, like what happens is you know, we apply for the capital grant and then you guys sign the grant and then we come up with the 20% local match. But the vehicles get titled to you. So we didn't have anything in place that basically said that the vehicles are titled to you and like that there's no exchange of dollars. So that is this that needs to be signed. And then the other fun thing I have is this really long document, which is going to be like a thing that they do like for starting in this year. And it's basically that the commissioners like are making sure that they look at our quarterly reports and that they look at our audits and that they look at all the stuff that we do to make sure that we're in compliance so that you guys are in compliance with us, if that makes sense. So it's rather detailed. I went ahead and filled that out for you guys as far as like the things that we did last year and the dates like that we conducted them, like our on-site visits and all that stuff, our technical reviews. We are due for a compliance review next year. So that's kind of, we'll have a lot that we'll have to get prepared for. And one of those things that's on that document is they want you guys to come out and do a site visit with us. So you guys can discuss amongst yourselves, like which one of you wants to do that fun task. So that would be like coming out, looking at our vehicles, making sure that they're all like in working condition and that kind of stuff. So just giving you that heads up and those two documents that I need signed.
What's your timing on getting these documents?
Those two documents I have to have uploaded to the system by the 31st of January. I just got them last week. So that's how this fun operation is going to work. It's going to be fun. I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay, so I didn't have a chance to review this. I don't think it was in our draft.
No, I
So
literally just brought it this
I would
morning.
like the
So
opportunity
absolutely.
to look at
Yep,
it before
yep.
I signed.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and probably even have Tom check it out. So maybe, I guess if we could make a motion to contingently approve it, assuming we agree to
our approval.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
if we'd be willing, unless there's any other questions, I guess I should ask first.
I think if we do that, that would be sufficient for us then.
Okay.
So.
And once I get things in the future like that, I'll have them. I'll
Yeah.
send them over as soon as I get them. This was kind of we were closed over Christmas and just got back to work and was hit with this like first thing. So
Understand.
yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, gentlemen.
Yep.
I'll make the motion that we accept it at this point in time based upon our approval and Mr. Little's approval of the contract that we sign it then.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All right. Motion carries 3-0. We'll review this before getting it signed. but I have the permission of the board for me to sign on our behalf.
Correct.
Yep. Okay, next up, we'll go back to our original one, which was Melinda Grismer and Louisa Hoffman with the Learning Network Annual Report and I believe the Summer Kids Workshop. Good morning, ladies.
Hi, I'm Louisa Hoffman, and we've spoken before the council and commissioners a couple of times, but for those who haven't heard my spiel, I'm going to give a quick one. I'm the coordinator of Summer Kids Workshop Program, and this is one of the best educational summer programs in Clinton County.
Good morning, Melinda.
The Learning Network of Clinton County has offered this since 2007, and we started with 5 classes and under 50 participants. And we have grown significantly since then. Last year, we offered a wide variety of classes. We had 32 classes taught by licensed teachers. The program allows Clinton County students from all 4 county schools and homeschooled kids from first grade through 12th grade to have a hands-on learning experience. Can you hear me? I'm using my teacher voice. Last year, as I said, we offered a wide variety of classes, video editing, digital photography, robotics, a young engineers class where first and second graders learned about simple machines through building and testing toys, cooking and sewing classes, mini farm classes that are actually held on a farm where they learn about agriculture, outdoor exploration held at Camp Cullum, 3 different art classes, a mini police academy, 911 emergency class, 5 different STEM classes, music, and aviation. This year, as I said, we started in 2007 with 5 classes. This year, we're offering 36 classes with 42 licensed teachers, and I've created multiple sessions of popular classes. Last year, we filled up very quickly. I had to turn a lot of kids away, unhappy parents. So the classes that were very popular and filled up quickly, I have created multiple sessions, so hopefully we will not have to turn kids away this year. These classes are held, every inch of the Learning Network Purdue Extension building is filled with children during June. We have classes at Camp Cullum, we have them at Clinton Prairie, at Rossville, the airport, Camp Cullum, and Highlands Heights Farm. It's a partnership with Purdue Extension and Community Schools of Frankfort. And just to give you the history, this is, well, it's a $30,000. It's an expensive program. It's a $30,000 program. It was initially financed by a grant, the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant, which we lost in 2016, but we felt so strongly about this program that we just pushed it forward. And Melinda basically recruits sponsorship from area businesses, and that's how we've been able to maintain the program. Last year, we had over 400 participants. That's a lot. It was a huge year, so I'd be happy, Melinda can talk to you a little bit about what we're asking for, and then I'm happy to answer any questions about our program, and just to encourage, if you have kids or grandkids, registration starts April 18th.
Okay.
They'll get flyers, go home through the schools, or you can come by Learning Network building and get some, so I'm kind of putting a plug in for.
Yeah, sounds far off, but it'll be here
It's here,
sooner
yeah,
than we know it.
And all I have to say is we just really appreciate this opportunity to apply for this this community service award. We're asking for $10,000 that will help us to increase the number of classes, like Louisa mentioned, and increase the number of sections, and to expand the program and continue to serve Clinton County. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You
ladies.
guys have any questions?
I'm good.
No? Thank you. I know we've talked about it in the past, but I always hear good things about the program. My nephews are involved, so I hear about it almost a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Laura Archibald and Brett Barton with the Opioid Settlement Fund recommendation in their presentation. Good morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Laura.
I'm Laura Archibald from Healthy Communities, and Brett is here to assist me. He was also on the opioid settlement funding committee. We just wanted to come here and explain how the process went with the opioid settlement funding committee and the recommendations. So the goal of the committee was to look at all the approved opioid remediation core strategies and approved uses. So those came down from the state. I actually have a copy of those if anyone wants one of those copies. Does anyone want one of those? I think you've all seen
Yeah.
them, but as you know, that list was very long and very detailed. And so we literally went through every single one of those remediation core strategies. And we, in detail, went through what we had offered in the county and what gaps we had in services. And from there, we went to the approved uses for that money and tried to fill those gaps in services with the funding that was available. The members of the committee are listed here. It was Mayor Judy Sheets, Stephen Deckard, Cesar Munoz from the Frankfort Police Department, Ashley Kelly from the Sheriff's Office, Brett, Nancy Ward and Matthew Riss from probation kind of went in and out because neither one could be there every single week. Rodney Wan from the Health Department, Macy Simmons from INWEL, and that was to cover the mental health and medication-assisted treatment part. Myself, and also really Jordan was on. It was a lot of this during harvest, so he couldn't make all the meetings, but he was in touch with email all the time, constantly through the whole process. We met 5 different times, and all of them, I think we had one meeting that lasted 60 minutes. Most of them lasted 2 hours. And that doesn't really begin to touch the amount of work that went into this. Hours and hours of work went into that committee in between those meetings. I want you to know due diligence was definitely used. We asked for finances, sustainability plans. We looked at in detail what organizations were doing, called multiple organizations to find out what they were doing when we were looking at those core strategies. So the core strategies that were examined are listed there. I won't go into every one, but we looked a deep dive into every single one of those core strategies to make sure we found out everything that we were doing in Clinton County. And then we found the gaps in services. And the nice thing, one of the benefits from this that we really, I don't think saw was going to happen, was that we were able to fill some of these gaps in services just by connecting with each other in that group and didn't spend a penny of that dollar. One of those examples, a couple of those examples, Ashley Kelly was in that group, and, you know, they wanted services for the men support groups in the jail. And just by us being on that same committee, now we're getting ready to start support groups through Healthy Communities, and hooking inmates up with peer recovery coaches for a warm handoff prior to them leaving. Ashley was able to use their medical providers to hook us up with working on some billing things for sustainability for peer recovery coaches. Those are the sort of things that just being on that committee, we are able to serve our community better, fill some gaps in services without even utilizing any of these funds. So just bringing those people to the table, we were able to fill some of these gaps in services. So we did notice a lot of gaps in services that we had, and then we sat down with those gaps in services and assigned dollar amounts and recommended organizations to kind of be in charge of those gaps in services. So the other thing that came out of this committee is that you all will be held accountable for those dollars that are handed down, and we felt that we wanted to make sure that you have the information that you need to report. You will have reporting requirements as well. And so our recommendation is that you have some sort of agreement or memorandum of understanding in place, and that should include reporting requirements to ensure that the funding is used accordingly. The committee also wants you to know they're available to reconvene for future funding decisions or distributions. Obviously, this funding goes on for a lot of years. The amount goes down significantly, obviously, after this year, but it still needs to be used for the approved services, and we still will have gaps, and those gaps are going to change year to year. And so, this committee is still willing to serve for many years. I think, I know one of the things that Jordan and I have talked about is, councils and commissioners change over the years. And so for some continuity, there needs to be some way that you're going to follow this money from year to year. And having a committee is probably one way that could be done. And this committee is also willing to help in any other way that you guys would like us to. I don't know if you have any questions, or Brett, you have any other input?
I just want to talk about, it's going to be a true collaboration between city and county government, because a lot of these line items are split 50/50, so very happy we're doing that.
I guess that's another thing. So not just because it's put to one organization doesn't necessarily mean that it's not serving multiple organizations. Like sometimes that organization was just the person who had the contact to schedule that training because they've done it before or whatever.
You guys have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I will thank you both and everyone that served on the committee. I appreciate the time you've put into this. Obviously, it looks like you've had a lot of meetings here, and we're thankful for that because this is a lot, and it'd be pretty tough on us to figure out where to put all this. So thank you. You guys are the experts.
I'll echo the same thing. I appreciate the effort that's been put in and all of the people that have put time in, and the many hours, including both of you, for stepping up even more. So, on the county's behalf, thank you.
So I think we have internally a couple things we need to do, and I would suggest that we, either through ordinance or resolution, put this committee in place, because as Laura mentioned, there's changes going to happen at council and commissioners because these funds extend out to 2038. And so that there's something in writing that establishes this committee, and then they meet. I'll let you kind of determine when they meet, but then they'll still bring the recommendation on an annual basis to the council and commissioners on how to spend the funds. To me, it seems the most appropriate action. So
Okay.
that would be one, and then we obviously their recommendation, which I think we need, is to have an agreement or MOU created so that we can have some reporting for how these funds are being spent. So I think we could work on both of those.
Have you guys received any directive about what your reporting requirements are going to be on that funding?
No.
I didn't think so, but if you let us know, we can create some sort of data collection.
Okay, yeah. I think the last communication that I received was probably in September when they sent the updated amounts that we were to receive, and it's kind of an email with
Which
a link,
changed after that?
Yeah, and then it changed after that even, but that was the last level of communication
Okay.
that I had as council president.
I just wanted to make note that at our meeting, the council did also give our commitment and recommendation that we use all of the funds from the settlement, both restricted and unrestricted, for this type of programming. And so you'll want to know that, probably go ahead and memorialize that in whatever MOU or agreement that you put in there.
Yeah, and so their recommendation is for the use of all of the restricted or abated funds, and it leaves open the unrestricted for the committee to meet a couple times, or this spring or summer, or something comes up, and then they will bring those recommendations on the unrestricted funds. But council did appropriate all those funds that are now in commissioner control to be allocated, so.
Is that for year one or?
It was to be for the entire use of that, so that you could try to leverage as you saw fit.
Okay, so that's for the up into 2038.
Entire settlement amount.
All right, okay. So I guess one thing we could do, unless we want to take it, we can do two things. We can take their recommendation under consideration, or we can accept their recommendation, which would then allow us to get those funds moving out the door quicker. So it's up to you guys if you want to study it more, or if you have different opinion on it that you want to bring to us, so.
I'll make a motion, we accept the recommendation as is
Okay.
and start
Yeah,
moving
and
forward, memorializing it.
And I think with the time and effort, I
moving.
would agree with that.
Yep.
The sooner we get it in play, the better off we are. So I will second Mr. Hughes.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. We will appropriate the 103,000 of the abated funds. We'll work on getting the MOU or the agreement put in place so that we can get those monies out the door quickly to each responsible department or organization. So, thank you guys again
Thank
for
you.
all your work. So,
Thanks.
yep. Next up is Chris Wheatley with BF&S for a request to bid for the roundabout project. Good morning, Chris.
Morning, Chris Wheatley with BF&S. Here to request permission to advertise for the State Road 28 and 800 West intersection construction project. This is for the east side of the I-65 interchange. We would place advertisements starting this Friday, and it'll be this Friday and the following Friday in the Journal and Courier, this Saturday and the following Saturday on the Times. We would also provide the advertisement and bid documents to the plan rooms and contact some of the local contractors that we've worked with in the area that typically bid on these type of projects. So the bids would be available to contractors, and the bid opening would be February 7th at the commissioners' meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
No,
I maybe have one quick question. Have you seen a change in the market in terms of how many bidders we may get for this project based on projects that are in the queue for, just around the area?
I think we're still early enough in the season. We're expecting competitive number of bidders. Over the past year, the bidding environment has become pretty erratic, and prices have escalated quite a bit. I mean, very significantly in the last year. So, we've been trying to keep you guys up to speed on that. It's been difficult for us to try to speculate on what the bids are. I mean, we've done our best putting numbers together. So everything's there. I think this is a good project. I think we'll have good interest in it.
Do we have all our right-of-way acquisitions done, or will they be finalized?
That is in process, and we have stated in here that notice to proceeds would be anticipated April 1st for the right-of-way that's being acquired, and May 1st for the NDOT right-of-way, within the NDOT right-of-way based on the NDOT permit that we're still working through as well.
Okay, all right.
Chris, I don't know if you're aware, Jordan, just recently, within the last day or two, we've got some reports back that the state is pushing us back on condoning or giving us back that small section of ground, this 6 acres, and they say it could be 2 or 3 years before they give us that property.
that's the opposite side of the.
Yeah.
That's
That's,
unrelated to this.
that's unrelated. Yeah. That-
They won't.
That's nothing with Chris, so,
Okay, good.
and this.
Good,
So,
then.
yeah,
Sorry about
completely
that.
unrelated.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah,
I wanna
if there's questions on that we can help with, let us
Okay,
know.
Yeah.
all right, yep. So with that, and if there's any other questions, do we have a motion to?
I've been waiting a long time to make this motion. I'd be honored to do so. I would make a motion that we give Butler, Fairburn, and Seifert notice to proceed to bid.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. Chris, you have notice to proceed for the roundabout project at 65 and 28.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thought you were wanting to do that. Next up is Beth Keeney with the CSI agreement. Good morning, Beth.
Good morning. From the Recorder's Office, we have a yearly maintenance and software and agreement that with CSI as our programmer. And then there's microfilm creation and then redaction services for the year, which that gets, we usually typically take that out of the ID protection fund that we collect for with each document. So we've sent those in advance, wanted to know if you would sign they have a place for us to sign, have the commissioners sign, so asking for approval for these agreements.
Did anything change year over year? I couldn't remember. I saw the numbers in there, but I couldn't
Images
remember.
went up
Oh, okay.
a little, and they also raised their price.
Oh,
So it was 5 cents, and now it's 6.5. But, so,
okay. Yep.
I make a motion to have Jordan sign the CSI agreement.
I would second that.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 to approve the CSI agreement with my signature. So,
thank you very much.
thank you. If it's all right, I'll just get it after the
Okay,
meeting.
sure,
Is that
that's
okay?
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Next is Rick Campbell with a highway update as well as recommendation for the Bridge 55 administrative settlement request.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rick.
Morning, Rick.
Have the-
You starting with the settlement?
Yeah, you want to start with the
Yeah,
settlement?
that's fine. Let's
Bring those papers up.
So this is for right-of-way acquisition for Bridge 55. And there's 2 parcels that need to have right-of-way acquisition. The original offers were rejected, and this is to go to administrative settlement rather than going to the legal course, which would cause delay in the project as well as increased cost. And so the reasoning, correct me if I'm wrong here, the reasoning for the additional amount of the settlement is because there's fencing that needs moved for livestock that is in the right-of-way acquisition that was not accounted for originally. So this is removing the fencing as well as putting in new fencing so that the cattle don't get out. So,
Right.
I miss anything or is
No.
that, all right. So we have 2 parcel 2 and 3. They're both for $20,200 each, so.
I'll make a motion to approve the administrative settlements for bridge number 55.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0.
We don't have to sign this.
Also have some papers for sales disclosure that you need to sign, and I've been trying to get you for 2 weeks, but I haven't been able to get up with you. So I just want you to look at them first and then sign them and give them back to Jerry.
Okay. There those are. Do you need a copy of that, Jerry? Okay. All right, we'll look at that. That's the, you need to make copies? Okay. All right. Jerry will make copies, Rick, and give it
Okay,
to you after.
that's fine. I have, since the solar farm has been working, they've been moving some ground around out there, and they're trying to change the water flow. And we had a good rain 2 weeks ago, and we had a couple places on 500 North where the water was running across the road. And we need to put in a couple 12-inch pipes. The open ditch is 800 feet away from this 500 North, and they have to cross another farmer's ground. And I would like the commissioners to tell me to put the pipes in so I don't have to take the heat off this farmer
Oh, okay.
running surface water over on him. But there's catch basins and tiles through that field anyways, and it's just 800 feet. The water has to go that way.
So are you proposing to put inlet by the road that will absorb the surface water and then take it underground and dump it in?
This is just a culvert pipe across the road.
Oh, just
You ever seen it?
moving it from one side of the road to the other?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll make
I
the
think if we
motion.
went any further than that, then it's drainage
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay. I have no problem with the culvert. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
that's-
it's pretty necessary looking at the.
I had a complaint, one of the local area people had to drive through it. It was pretty high at one point in time, so I'll make the motion that we proceed with the culvert to get it corrected.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to move
Okay.
forward with the culvert, Rick.
Okay, thank you. We got some information about community crossings last week, I think, and Alan Dunn signed the papers to proceed for us, and so that's moving forward.
Okay.
We had,
And that's for
Kelly Road.
Kelly Road.
for Kelly Road, I'm
Yep,
sorry,
yep.
yes, that's for Kelly Road, from Mash Road to 421.
Okay.
But anyway, and, you know, if we don't get the million, we have to do something else, but I'm counting on getting the million.
Sure.
What else I had? Oh, we had 4 dangerous trees in the county, throughout the county, and I had, Baber Tree Service come in and take those down for us. And we'd had some complaints on them and stuff, so we got those trees taken down. We also got the, tile finished in Manson.
Oh, cool.
That got started, but then there's 3 different new catch basins in Manson now. They're
Good.
12-inch, they're gonna take all the water. So, and I talked to Jordan about it a little bit. No, yeah, I did. I talked to Jordan about it a little bit. Tipton County's wanting to move the truck traffic over onto their division road, and I'm just afraid, once that traffic, if that traffic does get moved over to Division Road, they're gonna come right on across 31 onto Clinton County and turn at 29. And I'd like to do a traffic study right now to see what kind of traffic's on Central Road. I like to have something at 29 and something at the county line. And I was wondering if you guys want to count total number of cars and trucks, or just trucks, or how you want to do this, or if you want to do it at all. Because I think if that traffic comes over on us, they need to kick some cash our way so we can beef that road up.
I would say total. Let's count the trucks and the cars, because for those that don't know, Tipton County and NDOT made a change, and they're rerouting truck traffic now down Division Road to go around Tipton rather than going through Tipton. And so Rick's concern is that once they do that, they're not just gonna get back to 28, they're just gonna take Division all the way to 421 or 29. So
Right.
that'll put the increased traffic on our 100.
And our traffic has already increased since we repaved that road. It's already increased with
Oh,
truck
yeah.
traffic cutting through.
Yeah. I'm supportive of.
Yeah, I'd
Very
say go
much
ahead.
so.
That way we
But
have
I'd
it.
like to do a traffic study right now. A year from now, do another traffic study. In the meantime, we mention this to NDOT and let them know we're watching this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have a contact at NDOT that you're gonna
I can
let know,
get
or
a
you want me to?
contact.
Okay.
Or,
If not, I
or
can.
Jordan said he would help if he could. I think it may have more teeth in it if it come from a commissioner.
You're more than welcome to reach out as well.
Yeah.
So I did talk to someone
Okay.
out of Crawfordsville, who is our NDOT district. Tipton is in Greenfield district.
That's kind of what I was afraid of.
So we're gonna have that, I guess, challenge to work through, that it's 2 different NDOT divisions.
But I don't know if they're gonna be able to get this pushed through or not either.
Okay. Mr. Waldron?
While that's being done, would you want to have Pete?
What do you think, Rick?
It's up to you guys. I just want,
Much cost difference? I mean, while you're out there.
All right, then put speed in it. Yeah.
I think that's all I have. Bridge 36 final inspection is Friday.
Oh,
And I don't see any problems with that. And, we've been interviewing, Joanne and I have been interviewing clerks for her job. We did 3 yesterday, and I have one that we're really interested in. I'd like for you guys to look this over. We'd like to bring her back in, and put her to the test and see if she can do the job. But she's really good candidate, and we'd like to, I'm gonna give you guys her, resume.
okay. Yeah, and then just keep us updated on how that goes, and we can work with HR and.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Anything else?
Rick, did you have a phone call from Jason Forsyth in reference to the claim that we in the city have put on some of the damage that was done out on the other side of town?
I haven't
Has he
heard
called
nothing
you
yet, but I don't really have any damage on the other side of town.
Not on 200?
No.
We suspected that we'd have.
We was afraid we would. We just wanted to make sure we had our I's dotted and our T's crossed in case we
So
did.
You're okay with it at this
We're
point? then?
good.
Good.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Next up is Liz Stitzel with Area Plan Update. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning. I've actually got something to go over with you this morning, so of course it figures it's a busy meeting, so I've got something to pass out. Give me-
Thanks, Liz.
All right, so the topic of conversation is a unsafe structure on Farmers Gravel. It's a 2360 West Farmers Gravel Road. This actually has a somewhat lengthy history, and back in 2020, the Health Department had declared it unfit because of a failed septic. It's not on a largeable or a large enough lot to be rebuildable, and the house had been vacated. Then there was subsequently a fire, and then it's pretty well sat. We had tagged it under unsafe, I want to say a couple of years ago. And then the immediate neighbor had called and requested that he was the complainant. He requested that we pause on enforcement because he was going to purchase it, I believe, off tax sale. But then that fell through and didn't happen. So we received a call last fall wanting us to pick back up enforcement, which we did. So there's two stapled packets that you've got there. The top one is our most recent visit out to the site on January 9th. And then the one before was this fall when Kat started, reopened the file and started enforcement again on November 9th. And there's a little bit of a gap there because the holidays were kind of difficult to keep stuff updated through. So we have had contact from the owner. He has requested extensions multiple times, but there's really been nothing done to progress. And I believe Kat had copied all three of you on some of that email chain. His last communication that she copied you on, he was requesting an extension into February to either sell the property or start tear down. Kat had replied that he should be here today if he wanted to have a conversation about pushing that forward. We did get an email from him 17th. Was that yesterday? And he noted that he is currently ill, and at this point they just want to delay because they think they're going to have somebody purchase it and tear it down. Kat and I discussed this morning. She has some concerns given that we're since 2020 to now with a house that's not usable for anything and no sign of progress, and the plan is to hopefully find a buyer. And she has some concern that the buyer may think they can tear it down and rebuild, but we know that's not the case. It doesn't have enough land for a septic. So this is going to be a tear down and we're done unless the farmer that surrounds it sells some extra land or something changes. We have not heard that there's anything like that in play. It's just a itty bitty lot. So I think in Kat and I's discussion, it's ultimately up to the commissioners if you want to give it some kind of further extension or if you want to start some kind of action. But our general feeling is before this ever burnt, it was not habitable. It had already had a order from the health department. Then it burnt. It's sat here now for 3 years with no change and no attempt to clean it up. We have had definite, confirmed, solid two-way contact with the owner since November, and he hasn't given us any timeline of progress or date. I mean, he's kind of had this general, well, maybe February 9th, but that's to sell or to tear down. Like, there's been no commitment to actually remove. So we know we have some tear down money, and I guess Kat and I's thought was perhaps it may be appropriate to consider going ahead and condemning the house, because by the time we get out there and placard it, it's going to be a few days, and there'll be 10 days that he'll have for tear down before we would then vote to advertise for bids. Then you have the bidding process. So you're still looking at a couple months before you'd actually be doing a tear down on a fast track. If he wants to come up with a plan, understanding that he's ill today, but he should be able to come to the next commissioners meeting, at which point it would be condemned and placarded, but you won't yet have taken bids. We have had cases before where you've kind of put a pause on things in between those two steps because, of course, the goal is always to get the owner to resolve the problem themselves rather than placing a lien after we do it. But ultimately, irregardless of kind of Kat's feelings on that, and as we've talked about it, your choices would be to A, just give him an extension and wait and see what happens. B, to go ahead and issue a first fine on it, which would go as a tax lien, and Tom would need to file. Or 3, to go ahead and vote to condemn, and then we would plan then hopefully at your next meeting to be ready to go ahead and call to advertise for bids, or if he's present, you'd be able to have a conversation with him about what alternative plan might or might not be acceptable.
Okay. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I'd just as soon go ahead with condemnation.
Art, any thoughts?
So you want to move forward, Josh, with combination right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine with me. I mean,
That's
it's
just
been
my
three,
opinion.
it's been 3 years, so I think we just keep pushing the cart farther down the path if we allow him to do so.
It's pretty bad too. I don't know if you look
Yeah,
at
I
the
mean, if you
pictures,
look at
like
the
this
pictures-
is way beyond most of the complaints we even receive on,
It's about to fall in on itself.
yeah.
With it.
So,
Make a motion.
Yep.
I'll make a motion, go ahead and proceed with condemnation.
Second.
All right. Motion carries 3-0 to move forward with condemnation on that property.
All right, I will let Kat know. We'll go ahead and get it placarded, and then if he reaches out, we will invite him to the next commissioners meeting to have that conversation. I don't have anything else other than just a casual reminder that we need to be thinking about mowers. We discussed at the last meeting.
Our contractor from last year has respectfully declined to participate this year. So he has suggested someone new, and I am in the process of talking to them, so.
Okay. Right, I guess just keep us updated if there's anything we can do, and we'll sit tight. We got a few months. So.
What's the story on south of Michigan Town?
Kat cited, there's 2 properties actually out there that she cited. One was already cited when you mentioned it the last time in progress. The other one, she went out and
So
cited.
that one had been cited before?
Just slightly before. We'd gotten a complaint maybe a week or
Okay,
so
and
ahead.
any action at this point since it was cited? Or?
I didn't ask her this morning, but first zoning letter typically gives 30 days, and then you reassess. So we would be in that first, time period. I don't know if we received the green cards yet back. Typically, we know when they get it because we get that returned. But I can ask Kat and see if she can.
Tell us next time.
Yep.
What
perfect.
about, and so you went ahead and cited the next one that was further down south then?
Yeah, there were 2 of them there that, one was already cited, and then the other one
Got it.
was new, but yeah, both.
Thank you.
Both were cited. And, which reminds me on updates, Michigan Town, Mr. Wagner,
Yeah.
we're just waiting on a final engineer's report. He's got his bond. As soon as I get a copy of it, I'll send it to Jay Moore and Tom Little just to make sure everyone's good with the form of financial guarantee. But it's looking like
Working on it.
it's looking like it's going to move forward.
Good.
And then the one down in Antioch that comes up frequently.
Sold and being cleaned up and working.
It is. We actually just put a stop work order on it. They needed permits, but I think they're going to fix it and it's going to work out just fine. So it's we would anticipate it being a positive. They've got a failed septic down there, but they do have plenty of land, so we're optimistic that will work out.
Good news is they're working on it. so,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. So that's everything I got. I
Okay.
can possibly think of.
All right, perfect.
Have a great day.
Thank you. You have the McGuire iron payout. Okay. Next up, under old business, is the approval of McGuire Iron Pay App number 14, which is for $58,282.50. This puts the project at roughly 98% complete in terms of payment, and if you recall, we had given them an extension due to the weather and not having the generator coming in until the spring, so there was concern about flushing the tank and the liability with that if the pipes would freeze for the power going out. So this is just some of the work that they've been working on in between time. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this pay app.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0, and I believe it's signed by the building permission. Okay. Next up is new business, and the first item is commissary contract. Sheriff? So we have a copy of a commissary contract for you to review. I know in December you came to our meeting and mentioned that you would send us one. I never got one. I don't know if maybe my colleagues did, but,
We didn't send out anything for the most part until we could get to council, which will be next week, the council meeting. Because all the direction that I've received has been, council will take care of all of the, it's that form of contract that council has the oversight on it.
well,
And
that's.
we haven't sent it to
That's
them.
not, that's not completely correct. So it'll have.
I'm
it'll
not
have-
going to argue that
Yeah.
part of it. I will say that, I haven't had time, we changed the agenda was changed yesterday, and I don't have the ability to have my attorney come in and present or give to you or have that guidance. So, I do apologize, but yesterday in the afternoon, I didn't see it until I got back from a function last night around 8:30, 9 o'clock. So with that, I'll leave that there.
Yeah, so that's our agreement. I mean,
Okay.
I'll just mention some things. It's for Ashley.
Yes,
but
sir.
It can be for anybody that you choose. So if she would be unwilling, that's kind of what the council and commissioners have come to an agreement on to offer as the offeror. It's for a fixed amount, $45,000 for 2023, and it has an escalation that amount will increase every year at the same rate that council increases the county employee's
Okay.
salary. So.
Fantastic. I do
Yep.
appreciate that.
Yep, so just a little more, I just want to say a couple more things on it.
Yes.
Because I think it's important. That's roughly a 25% increase over what the commissary manager made back in 2018, and comes out to over $140 an hour based on a part-time position. So I think it is more than fair, and that's kind of the offer, so you guys can review it and look at it and let us know.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And I know we've been down a long road here with a lot of different things. And so I do appreciate that, and I will take it back. I'll supply it to my attorney,
course.
and we'll get back with you as soon as possible.
Yeah, we just didn't want you to think we were not taking any action, so we wanted to present it to you and.
Thank you, and I thank
Just have
council
options.
as well for that same effort and time. Can I take my time now?
Yeah, we might as well just.
I'm going to go ahead and jump right into a couple things. I know that I sent out a couple emails regarding some electrical issues at the sheriff's office. We had to get those repaired. They're there today doing the repairs, and we go back to 30 years. We go back to electrical wiring that is now as brittle as it gets, and when they found where the short was at, it's in a concrete wall and metal conduit that, and I don't know necessarily the remedy other than pulling wire and removing that old stuff, but when they were or checking the breakers, things like that, it would pop the breakers, but it sounded like 4th of July where this was at. So, it's one of those things that we desperately needed to get that fixed. So Congleton Electric is in there today doing the repairs. There was no effective, it did not affect the inmates. It was in the hallways and the back portion of the facility, and I'm talking up into the pod area where the inmates are at, but it didn't affect, and luckily it didn't affect anything inside the confined area where the inmates were at. It was our central area for observation and our satellite area. That's where it was affected at. So they're making the repairs today, should be pretty good. Hopefully by the end of the day, we'll have a better idea.
Are they're making repairs, or they're giving you an estimate to see how much it's going to be?
Well, we have to have those lights because right now, all we've got is temporary floodlights in there.
We don't know
which-
what, it
No,
could be
sir.
200,000, or it could be $20 then.
It could be $20 or it could be 200,000. And, and I hate to bring that to you, but we do have to have lighting in those stairwells and in the rec areas and in our central area or satellite area where our officers and everybody else, we move those inmates in and out of there. So right now we have temporary lighting, auxiliary lighting that, we got
I
cords.
understand the urgency, but boy, it seems like we ought to be looking to see where we stand with that before we commit to getting it fixed.
Well, it's safety,
No.
Mr. Weaver.
No.
It's safety. It's absolute
When you have
safety.
an emergency situation like that,
Yes.
you can't wait for,
So, I mean,
You have to go ahead.
I wish that we didn't have this concern, but this concern, it bears a lot of different things on that facility, that we're at the age where we are going to get these in the middle of the night. So at 2 a.m., my maintenance
We've known
people
this
were
going on for a long
contacted.
time, and now all of a sudden we jumped, or it just happened right last week then?
2 a.m., if you want the phone logs, I'll show you the
That's what
phone
I'm wondering,
logs.
how much time did we have?
2 a.m.
Okay,
this morning,
good.
or yesterday morning.
Okay.
Sheriff, would it be possible to ask, obviously you gotta get it fixed, but if it starts getting.
Oh, we're not, I already told them. I told them that to fix the problem that they have at hand, to get those wires that are shorting out so we don't create a fire in a wiring harness or whatever the case is, to make it safe. And then any further, they do have to provide a bid or a cost estimate, and then it'll be provided to commissioners.
Good.
I had that conversation with Mr. Congleton this morning before we got here to the meeting about 8:15, 8:30. So he's very clear on get it safe, and then we'll move forward. If there's, if they see other things, then it'll be the process of, we know it's going to be over 25, 30,000 if they got to do a major upgrade to electrical, and that would be a bid process. So hopefully several companies would throw their name in there. So I mean, that, and I understand, Mr. Weaver, but, and then there again, I do have to be concerned with the safety of the officers and people that
Well,
are
I know.
moving about inside the facility. And so it's
I
a
was
2
under the
a.m.
impression it had been going on for quite a while.
No,
And-
not at all. This was something, I mean, it was, I was surprised,
Yeah.
to say
I
the
noticed
least.
We have an electrical issue in the back parking lot that's been going on, because the back parking lot doesn't have lights back in the back. And
Yeah, there's only one or two working lights, and that's why we have the lift back there. And as soon as the weather and the product comes in, they'll be replaced.
Because I think that's a safety issue with our people walking out after work, late
Oh,
hours.
absolutely.
And it's been going
Absolutely.
on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So we probably ought to be looking into that, I would think.
Well, we've got the equipment ordered, and the lift is standing by. So as soon
Okay.
as it's shipped in, it'll be replaced.
Good.
Vehicles on trade-in, sale, auction, give me some guidance. And I know we have probably 4 or 5 that we're going to either trade in or we can have an auction. It doesn't,
Do you have any guidance in terms of what an auction would bring versus?
No.
Have they given us a trade-in value to compare?
I know that the average for basically the vehicles that are going to be traded in, $3,500 would be probably your maximum trade. I don't know, auction is an auction. You don't know what you're going to bring in. So if we want to stand by and just do the trade-in on this last group of vehicles, that's up to you guys. I can send you a list of the vehicles. I've got a vehicle that's set aside for probation. I know that we talked about that, and it's a passenger car, and it's one of the better vehicles that, but we've got to decommission it, take the stripes off lights and that, and provide it to them.
When do you need decision? Which direction?
March,
Okay.
April.
Maybe send us the list. Of
I'll
what
send you
you're
the list of
thinking,
vehicles, and you guys-
We'll discuss and come up with a plan.
If you watch the market, the trade-ins are kind of soft now, so I mean,
Yeah.
we're kind, or, everything's kind of lacking up a little bit, so makes no difference, but I gotta have you guys go through it and decide what we can do with those, get rid of them.
All right.
That's all I have, unless you have any other questions.
I have one, you had given me that Corson Fire Security
Yes.
quote. I was reading through it, were they gonna do an assessment too? Because it doesn't say it shows the work they're gonna do, but it didn't say they were gonna do, weren't they gonna do an assessment of the fire suppression system?
Yes, they have to give an approval to the fire, and I guess that would be their assessment. And
Okay.
we have to have the approval for the Department of Corrections inspection, and the inspection will be in March.
Okay, so
I think
that's
it's the second
different
week
than
of
this
March.
quote, is what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need us to move forward with this so they can get some work on?
If you want to sign it, I'd appreciate it.
So it's a work to the fire suppression system. I don't know if you want to, he brought it up at the council meeting there, so I know Bert was at it. I don't know if you want to give,
And it doesn't, anytime that you guys can get through that and look at it,
well,
it's not a,
I looked at it, I'm fine with it. That was my only question. I was confused if they.
well, I
were
think
doing
that they're going to
part of
do the
assessment.
repairs, and they'll, obviously, their final assessment will be that it's a system that's working and
Okay.
proper.
I was fine with the quote, so I think it'd be pertinent.
I was kind of surprised it was that low.
I'll make a
Truthfully.
motion that we move forward with the 334284 expense to go forward with the fire security.
Second.
Okay, motion carries 3-0. So
Thank you.
I'll sign this here so you have it. And then the one other question, I had sent you an email about the SRO agreement with Clinton Prairie. Any update?
We're waiting on their attorneys to provide us back the final memo of understanding before we can move forward. And they were, the attorney's blank in my mind right now, for Clinton Prairie and for Clinton Central, and we haven't heard back from them on the final memo of understanding. And what it, basically the adjustment to it was that the SRO that's assigned to the schools is going to be responsible for all calls at the school, so that we don't have to remove somebody from the road to go to the high school or to the elementary to write a ticket for a vape or write a ticket for tobacco or nicotine or anything else, or to handle anything. And that was the change. So that was right before Christmas. I hope that they have gotten to it. It seems like a simple fix, and that would also provide us the ability, they would only get further service if requested, like an investigator. If it was something like that, then we would have an investigator go out and assist the SRO, but they would be a full-bodied officer at those two schools.
So I saw the agreement that Clinton Prairie had. I don't think you would accept that personally, looking at it, because it took a lot of say out of your hands and put it in the schools, and I'm not even sure if that's allowed with the merit board, how that works.
We've asked them to share that back with us, what they had completed, and I haven't got it back from Mr. Miller or from out there at Clinton Central.
I have a copy, so I'd be willing to share it with you.
You can share it, send it to me, and,
Because it has to come back to us to
Yes.
review, but I would suggest that we work together on
Sit down
trying
and
to
look
get
at it.
something that
Absolutely.
protects the county's liability, but also protects your liability as well with the officer. So,
Yes.
if you'd be willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. So that's all I have.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yep. Okay, next up, we have, it's the Michigan Township Board appointment. And this is similar to what happened in Forest. We didn't have enough individuals run in the primary or the general election for the advisory board for the township. And so there was 2 vacancies, and by statute, those then come to the commissioners to make appointments. So I'll just cite the statute, which is 3-13-10-6.5, which allows us to make those if there's the vacancy. I reached out to the Michigan Township trustee, Nick Bales, and he had a recommendation of 2 individuals who have been on the board and are willing to continue. There just was a lapse in getting signed up this time. So those are Jeffrey Strong and Matthew Minnan. So, so I will open it up. If we have other ones that we would like to consider, those were the ones that they suggested. So it's on our plate to either come up with them or take recommendations. So I'll open it up to both of you guys for your thoughts.
I'll make the motion that we accept Jeffrey Strong and Matthew Menon to the position.
I will not second it.
Okay, so I'll second it. So motion carries 2-1 to appoint Jeffrey Strong and Matthew Minnan. Next up, give a little context on this. So we have the community service grant applications, and what this is doing is streamlining the process where there had been confusion in the past of basically money that the county gives to support community involvement. And so sometimes they would come to the commissioners first, sometimes the council, and there was this process that would take time where working through council, they just, for 23, allocated $1 amount and are now allowing the commissioners to make those allocations of those service grant amounts. And so we have a budgeted amount of $107,500, which is roughly what it has been the past few years of the total. And for some transparency, we created the grant application so that entities could apply, and we had some more background and context, because I think one thing that would happen, and I can speak to this firsthand, is like when I came in, you start asking questions and you don't know because it's been done in the past for X many years. And so this allows each entity to come before the commissioners on an annual basis and give an update or anything they'd like to share with us, as well as apply for this funding that we can then allocate out to them. So we have a few here today. I'll kind of run through the applications, and then maybe if you're not required to come and speak, we have your application. I think many of us have worked with you and spoke to you in the past, but we're going to give you the opportunity, maybe a couple minutes, if you'd like to give us a little spiel on your organization and what your request is. So the first one is Coach Kids, and their request is $7,500. Okay. Next is the Sharp program with a request of $10,000. Good? Okay. We have Paul Philippi with the transportation request of $15,000, and they spoke earlier. We have the Crossing School with their request of $35,000. We have Healthy Communities for their request of $20,000.
I just wanted to give you the annual report.
Okay.
Can't really send this in an email, so
Thanks.
it's a big
Thank you,
file,
Laura.
so,
thanks.
you know.
Thank you. Next, we have the Learning Network, which we heard from, and their request of $10,000. Then we have Paul Philippi. Again, this is for a different use for the seniors, senior center. Is that correct? Okay, for $10,000. We have Home for the Night, $22,000. Can you go to the podium for me, please? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Colleen Moore. I'm the board president. I wasn't here last year, so I just wanted to make sure I came. We've been open a little over a year. Last year, we served 97 different individuals. We housed 97 different separate individuals. There were a couple repeats, but that's not in that number. Things are going well, and we're asking basically for the same amount of money we got last year. We'll be making a similar request to the city as well. We really just can't run this without the community support. So I just want to say thanks for previous support, and I hope you continue. And if you have any questions about the shelter or any of that, please reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And the last one is the Boys and Girls Club for $12,500. The podium, please. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We could bring the mic to you if you'd like.
I'm good. Have to use some people for a minute. I'm Susie Michael, and I am the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. And we've asked for $12,500 for out-of-school time or OST time for the kids. We serve about 130 a day as our average daily attendance. But we have a unique opportunity this year with some Lilly funding to make your investment of $12,500 be matched dollar for dollar. So it's actually a $25,000 investment. Again, it goes right to the kids, and it has our after-school programming and our summer program. So,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so those are the totals. I guess I would say we take it under advisement and discuss how we allocate and go from there, and ideally make that recommendations at our next meeting. So, okay.
I would like to thank everybody in the community service organizations for a good and well-done job. You know, each and every one of you have a good cause and a good program, and we've done well. Our community is very, very fortunate to have all of you active. So I appreciate it.
Well said.
Yep, thank you. And I will note one thing, because I think it goes undervalued here, is that this money comes from the landfill tipping fund. So it's actually not coming from any county tax dollars. It's basically revenue that's generated based on a service that is part of our community. So that's where all of this comes out of, just so everyone is kind of aware.
Good point.
All right, next up is department heads. See some? Do we have any that would like to come up today? Renee, good morning.
On Friday, we had an issue with our air handler in the equipment room. Luckily, Tim has a monitor in there to keep track of our temperature and if there's an increase. And I went in and last year the same thing happened. QPH had just been here like a week before doing their preventive maintenance. It ended up being, I don't know, a fan switch or something up on the roof for the air handler in the equipment room. So we did get that taken care of Monday, finally. They came Friday and had to come back on Monday, and they did get that taken care of. I know I talked to you and Alan, well, some of the council members are here as well. The two positions for the radio equipment that will be at the new police department. I had been waiting for months for Motorola because the 2 positions we had originally purchased went into my office and the assistant director's office, and those are going to stay there. So I've been waiting for months and finally got that on Friday as well, my contract from Motorola on the purchase of that. So I've been reviewing that. I will forward that to Tom as well to look at. It's very similar to the contract we entered when we purchased the last, but I will be probably bringing that at the next meeting once I review it, and I'll forward it to Jerry. The next meeting, I will also be on the agenda for my year-end report. Seems like something else I had. As you know, my assistant director did leave, and obviously I need to get us up at full staff before I move forward, because that position would be filled from within. And so my plan is to use that money from, instead of coming out of the dispatcher, because I would be short a dispatcher, I'm gonna use that money to get someone hired and trained, and then once we make the promotion, then I would do the switch on what funds things come out of. But I just kinda wanted to give you a heads up on that I'm working on that as well.
Okay. Any questions?
I had lunch with the maintenance guy who said he was down there the other day, and he said the problem with the air handler was there's just too much hot air down there.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So it wasn't his
There's
switch.
plenty of
It
hot
wasn't
air.
his switch at all.
Yes.
Opinion only, I'm not backing that. So.
Anything else?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, any other department heads? Okay, seeing none, I'll move on to commissioner reports. Do either of you have reports?
Just so you know, last week I've had a couple complaints from the solar farm industry. Regretfully, it's been rainy, and so those trucks get mud on them, and then they come out on the road and back and forth. In fact, I saw some communication even, but they're trying to stay on top of it as best they can. I think they jumped right on it after I was with them that one day, Tom. And so anyway, it's just, work in progress is what it amounts to.
Yep. You have anything, John?
And that's all.
No, sir. Nope. Okay. I have 2 announcements. The first one is the Associates Healthcare biometric screening starts in February for all the county employees. If you participate in this, it's supposed to only take 5-10 minutes. It saves you $54 off your insurance premiums per month. But the big kicker is if we get 50% participation, then it locks in our insurance premiums for 2 years. So essentially, we'll have no increase into 2024. So we just want to make sure that all the department heads are aware of that and push our employees to participate in the
Yeah, we need to
biometric
push
screening.
that.
So I wanted to make that announcement. There's 4 days in February that they're doing that. So I think HR, or the auditor's office, Cecily had sent out a reminder to everyone. The second announcement is that we're installing AEDs on the 1st and 3rd floor here at the courthouse. And we're going to have training next week. Jerry will email when the training is. And so is Stephen doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so.
Unless.
Okay, so someone from EMS will provide the training on utilizing the AEDs, but it's just a safety precaution to take care of here at the courthouse. So that training, and we'll email you those updates. So that's all I have on that. We'll move on to claims. We have claims dated January 6th in the amount of $20,517.53. Claims dated January 13th in the amount of $8,757.95. Biweekly claims dated January 18th in the amount of $512,079.24. And court claims dated January 18th in the amount of $32,399.32.
Motion to approve claims as presented.
Second.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0 to approve claims. Next, we have payroll dated December 30th in the amount of $445,811.01.
Motion to approve payroll.
And second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to approve payroll. Lastly, do we have minutes? we have minutes from January 3rd. Do I have a motion to approve minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. Is there any other business that needs to come before the commissioners today? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Our next meeting will be on February 7th.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All right.